Hello and welcome to Explore NLP with Bright as Light, Carol Robertson and the English Sisters. Hello, Carol.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Lovely to talk to you again, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's wonderful.
My screen's a bit funny. I'm not seeing, but there we go. Great, that's better.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, so today I wanted to talk about curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody says that.
Yeah, it's awful.
And you know, when I work with people, like whether they're artists or people come to see me who want to, you know, feel better, or whether they want to do something better or do something differently, or whether they're horse riders, I would really notice that one thing they all have in common is they're usually stuck.
Yeah, they're like glued, aren't they, to their present situation?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I come in with my NLP tool bag and my NLP attitude, and, you know, I'm all jolly, and they're usually not very jolly. And I'm all jolly, and then they go, you know, curiosity killed the cat.
Oh. Would you tell them that they're not cats?
Well, that's a good one. But what I did was I researched curiosity killed the cat saying, discovered that in fact that's not the origins of it at all. It's been changed, which is really fascinating. So the old saying dates back to 1590 or something like that, and it was actually that care killed the cat.
Care killed the cat. Care.
Yeah, and the meaning of the word care then was worries, and you know, your worries and concerns and woes and things.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Worry killed the cat.
Worry killed the cat.
Well, worry can kill us, can't it?
So even though the cat's supposed to have 9 lives, the worry sort of killed him even though he was supposed to live so long.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And it's so true because worry does that, doesn't it?
Well, it gives you all kind of problems, doesn't it? It can cause heart attacks and all sorts of things. Constant gastritis, stomach problems, high blood pressure, apart from making you feel really stuck. But it also sort of fills your mind up, doesn't it? And it doesn't allow room for anything else if you're worrying.
No. It's so interesting that it was actually not the curiosity as we know the word curiosity, as inquisitive sort of the word. It was actually the worry that killed the cat.
Yeah, the saying is completely changed. So I'll read you the saying.
Yeah.
The saying was, so this goes back to 1598, and it said, care killed the cat.
Care killed
it. It is said that a cat has 9 lives, but care would wear them all out.
There you go. Oh, wear them out.
Wear them out. Care, as in worry, would wear them out.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I wish they would say that today. Instead of curiosity killed the cat, you know, we should all start saying worry killed the cat. How much sense would that make to people? Every time they started worrying, they would begin to feel, oh my goodness, worry killed the cat. Hey, watch out.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die of worry.
Even though I'm not a cat.
Really, that should be said. You know, we should start spreading that little saying around.
I think we should spread it. Worry killed the cat.
Worry killed the cat.
And it's probably also a controlling thing, isn't it? Because curiosity does open many doors. So it's quite convenient to have a saying for people that don't want doors to be open, say like institutions where they'd rather have everyone nicely in their place.
Well, yeah, perhaps, maybe that's
if they're
why
curious, it's not a good thing.
Well, no, it's not to be
changed. Yeah, it's interesting because you know, when I did my research, I found the point it did change at, and it changed in 1898. There was a joke. Well, I think it was some kind of joke in the Galveston Daily News, and there it is said that once curiosity killed a Thomas cat. Now, a Thomas cat is a jokey form of cat. Maybe a bit like our cartoons today. It's a jokey form of tomcat. So maybe it was a bit like Tom and, you know, the basis of like our Tom and Jerry cat. So even then, you see, so it comes in as, it is said that once curiosity killed a joke cat. A joke tomcat.
So someone that was joking. I don't know.
I guess
someone that was joking around maybe and playing around too much, being too curious.
It was a male cat though that got killed, not the female cat. Perhaps the male cat was too curious. I mean, I don't know. In those days,
Yeah, well, it's a really interesting shift, isn't it? Because they didn't shift it straight onto a real cat.
No.
It was straight onto this, a joke cat. Only a joke cat could be killed by curiosity.
Yeah. Someone that's just so like a fool or something. The joker.
The jester.
The jester.
So it's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? And then after that,
then
it made the shift to curiosity killed the cat,
Mm.
and it's so powerful because so many people say that to me.
I know.
Yeah, even if they don't say it, you have that embedded in you. It's being programmed. You're hypnotized. It's a suggestion that's being
installed.
It's
been installed. It's been installed.
Yeah.
At a very early age, just the first time maybe perhaps a teacher or even your parents tell you when you're being really curious, and then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, watch out! You know what happened? Curiosity killed the cat," and you think, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to die, even though I'm not a cat." So
it's really powerful.
it is powerful. So it's lovely to say, "Worry killed the cat."
It's great. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Worry killed the cat.
Worry killed the cat. Let's get it back to the real thing.
Yeah.
So what can you do instead of worry?
Again at the window.
I love peacock.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
Wow. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Their girlfriends have just returned to them, but they're not speaking at the moment. So.
Oh dear. They need a little therapy. They've come to the right household.
Something needs done. So I just think it's really powerful, and I think that curiosity, is a really important part of an NLP attitude.
It is.
Being curious, being able to be curious about everything and anything.
Well, that's how a lot of scientific discoveries are made, aren't they?
Well, they are. I think that's practically the basis of NLP, because if the founders weren't curious about how other people worked, they wouldn't have started anything, would they?
Yeah.
If they weren't curious to see how these other people were doing their stuff, they wouldn't have.
And when you start to get curious, really, really curious, and just open everything up and sort of go, well, what is everything? What is anything?
Yeah.
And then you start to look at the way that your own behaviour, your own behavioural flexibility, and things, your beliefs that you hold really strongly, and then you say to yourself, I'm really curious about that belief. When did I form it? And then it's so funny because you can be doing it when you're cooking the dinner or whatever. When did I get this belief? And then you discover it was when you were 4.
Yeah.
And sometimes just being curious about it and looking at it, something that you've maybe not thought of looking at, changes it.
Changes it completely.
Yeah, that can be for positive beliefs. Something, you might be really confident. You might just start, well, how comes I'm so confident?
Yeah.
Maybe my best friend isn't. So it can be for positive beliefs or negative beliefs. How come I have that feeling whenever I'm out that, there's always something wrong with my skirt, or my shoes aren't quite right, or the way I speak, or whatever, in all areas of your life.
Get curious about
why you think the way you do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Get curious about your own thinking.
About your own behavioural patterns. Very good, yeah.
And you can get curious about you can notice how, you might, somebody might say something, or you might think something, and how your body moves towards it, or moves a little bit rocks away back from it.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Or the tonality that you use and the body movements that you use to do certain kind of actions. Like when I'm cleaning the windows.
Yeah.
I get really, really grumpy about cleaning the windows. There's got so many windows here.
That's not surprising.
I need some NLP on my window cleaning thing.
Well,
But
when
anyway,
you clean a window, you can notice every time you clean a window, you can see things more clearly because it's clearer.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But yeah, I notice in my body, you know, if I'm going to clean, if I've decided I'm going to clean the windows, you know, I hear myself saying I have to clean the windows.
Yeah,
you start, and then and my whole body, you know, it was all squint to one side and all this kind of stuff. And so when I'm curious about that, then I just think it's kind of funny because if I go down to muck out the horses, which is great big piles of dung, I'm like,
yeah, so that is curious, yeah.
And I have to do it every day. So, you know, so when you get curious about that kind of thing, you're like, well, what's it all about? You know, and it was some funny thing. I once had to do the windows or something like that. So
yeah, maybe if you
windows now.
If you put a little bit of dung on one of your windows one day and then just clean it off. You probably just have to do it once
and it would work for the rest of your life. Then you'd go la 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 la.
Or just think about my horses when I'm cleaning the windows, or like you say,
think right. Just let your mind wander to wherever you wish.
Yeah, definitely. And then an unpleasant or a so-called unpleasant task can become a very pleasant one if you're curious about it.
Yeah,
as to why you think it's unpleasant or why you feel that way. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good point.
One of the things that I think is interesting when you get curious, because we're amazing human beings, and sometimes you hear Paul McKenna talking about how we don't come with a user's manual, and that always makes me giggle. I hear him say that because I think, well, it's kind of so true.
Very true.
And the thing that I notice is that, you know, we're fantastically well equipped to pick up information about the world round about us. So we've got our eyes, we've got our ears, and our nose, blubber mouth, and we've all of our kinesthetic senses, you know, prior perception, knowing about where our weight is, all of these things. Excuse me. The other thing I notice when I work with people is often they become a bit unaware of what's, you know, so maybe they become a bit unaware or they're not developing one of those senses. And that's what I was talking about really in that very first chat we had.
Yeah.
About becoming curious, you know, like, so when I went back and studied a lot of NLP, I got much more curious about music and realising I hadn't really developed that sense, all the effort I'd put into doing visual work, all the years of training and everything, but I love music, but I hadn't really studied it and always thought I can't do it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I've worked with Eric Robbie and I hear music so differently now. You know, now I find myself listening to music that really made me oscillate. And now I listen to it and I'm like, oh, that feels good. I like that.
Yeah.
Interested in that.
Well, music has that power, doesn't it?
It's magical.
So we're picking up all of this information around about us and making sense of it in our brains. I mean, really, you could use a metaphor of thinking about our eyes and ears and things a bit like a scan. Our eyes are a bit like a scanner on a computer or a video camera or, you know, a camera. But the information is worked on in the brain.
That's right.
You know, we do different things, but same with sound. Take the sound in. I mean, with eyes, very little is seen to do with the eye. There's a word in toptic imagery, which is to do with seeing images which are based on the self. So some of that is to do with the optic nerve. You know, when you close your eyes and you see all those amazing abstract patterns.
Yeah,
they're in toptic images. But they're really different from the images you have in your mind when you remember something. So
you mean when you close your eyes, so like if I close my eyes now, I can see lots of images.
When you close your eyes,
can you just see lights and things?
I can see lights, yeah.
Little squiggles.
Yeah.
I can see squiggles, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, they're in toptic images, and so they don't really know where those images are coming from. Some of them they know come from the optic nerve.
Right.
But they're very different from the images that we see when we look at our houses or our dirty windows or our clean windows.
Yeah.
And then they're also very different from the images that we have inside our heads. So, once we've coded something, and we've been coding all of our lives, gathering information, and then we store it, a bit like a computer. I think we have sort of files. I certainly have files on colours, texture, people's faces, and that's how I can recognise people, and that's how I know that, a kebab's a kebab, and lentils soup.
Yeah.
So, often I hear people saying they can't visualise, but if we couldn't visualise, we wouldn't be able to identify anything.
No, you wouldn't be able to dream either, would you?
What? Well, you wouldn't.
When you wake up, you see the pictures.
Yeah, when you wake up, you say, "Oh, I had a dream about that," and you see it. You kind of you see the little video of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
So there's all of this internal data, and we use it as we have kind of like, I think of it as a memory bank.
Yeah.
I also think of it as either like a bank or a file or set files, and we also have an imagination, which is almost like a set of files as well.
Yeah, your imagination is like a set of files. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's like as if you've stored all your memories in a filing cabinet almost, or on a computer, on a hard disk, and you access them when you need to.
And you call it imagination.
Some of them you forget about, don't you? So they would be like the lost ones where you have to go and look for them.
You have to search.
Yeah.
The other ones you put them in the bin, the ones you don't want.
Yeah, I think we've got like a Google search engine inside, and we go, okay, I'm going on a long journey, and we go to our memory and we go, it could go like this, or it could go like that, or we base it on things. We create a story.
We do.
To make a story, yeah.
They're all stories.
And so the people that are feeling rotten all the time, it's because they're accessing these stories that aren't making them feel good.
Or they're making structures.
Or structure.
Maybe it's to do with the structure. So visual images are quite easy to talk about, when we're discussing something like this. But we're doing the same sort of coding for all of our smells and tastes as well. And that's how we can't articulate it so well. It's not so easy. If you listen to a wine specialist or a tea taster, and they talk about the musky taste or the fruity flavour or something like that. But our language doesn't really, can't really kind of take that, describe it perfectly, that we can share between each other. But if you, every time you cook something, or every time you experience, like if you have a favourite food, every time you have it, you notice it's different. So you must be comparing it with some previous experience.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, you are comparing it.
You are comparing it to the last time you had it. And it's funny how often, like when we go to a restaurant or something, we go there the first time we're really happy.
You might go crazy about
the food, and the next time, it wasn't as good as that first time.
Yeah.
Was it? And we go, because it's the second time.
We know that. We say
know
it's because we're comparing it to the first time when we were obviously really excited about the new restaurant. There was all the other senses were involved.
The visual aspect, the beautiful music.
Perhaps it was the content,
what kind of mood you're in.
or the person you're with. And then this time round, it's not as good.
No, because you're comparing.
Or sometimes it can be even better.
Of course,
yeah. Can be even better.
And then you can go home and recreate it.
Yes.
What was it that was in there? A bit of garlic, or was it like a little lemon juice, or what was it? So we're amazing. We've got all this wonderful, like a whole lifetime of information. And my experience is, when using hypnosis, that we can access that information.
Yes.
It's all there, so, you can go back in a trance to when you were, 10 years old and remember, everything. The books, you might have gone to get a book out of the library, and every single book right next to it, you actually can remember if someone talks to you about it in trance.
I know.
So we store it all. So it's amazing. But, unlike on the outside where we've got, all of these senses, we've got our eyes, nose, ears, inside our heads, either we've not evolved it yet, maybe this is our job, we're going to evolve it, or else we've lost it. But quite often, we're not aware of all the sort of processing that's going on. And I've got a funny thing on my new computer here that it's a little program that tells me what the computer's doing when I'm working. So, so I was building our new website, and then I was working on some documents so that people can have some information about how we're thinking afterwards on the website. And this little thing comes up in the corner, and it tells me, it says, and Skype is connecting the internet. I'm not connecting the internet, but it's busy doing things. Sometimes I'm working on it, and it's a bit slow, and I'm like, come on, go faster. And then I look at it, and it says, that it's busy doing some kind of check, virus, Dr. Norton virus check. Yeah. And at first it annoyed me, but now I'm really quite liking it, because I go, oh, I get it.
Like, so reassuring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it gives you more data, more information. So something that I've done for a long, long time, and for a while I didn't have a name for it, but it's an installation that you can make, which starts to give you all the data about, and you can program it to pick up data. Yeah. It tells you
an installation you can make.
It's fun. So would you like to do that?
We would. Yeah.
Right.
So there's quite a few steps with it. So I thought today, because we have not got time in each show, today we'll start off with installing the first bit, and then we can all see how it goes for a week or so.
That's
a good idea. Yes.
Get some feedback from it.
Yeah, okay? Yeah.
So I call it the neutral observer.
The neutral observer.
The neutral observer.
Okay, that sounds good. Useful.
Yeah, and it's always something jolly. So you can have a dial, if you want like a digital dial thing, or you can have like a little rabbit with sunglasses on, or you can have Bugs Bunny, or I don't know, you can have somebody that you really love who makes you smile all the time. You can have anything you want. You just let your imagination just go for it. So I install it here. So it's like right in the centre of my forehead, just a little bit back.
Here.
Pop it in.
Right.
Yeah, just pop it in and make it comfy, so it's got its own little environment. And it's always just really jolly and friendly. And it gives you the information in just a lovely way that always gives you a bit of a giggle, even if it's quite cheeky. Mine says to me every now and then that it goes, inner dialogue. And I go, okay, thank you. Give me the inner dialogue then. And it goes, you're fat.
Oh dear.
I thought it was supposed to be nice. A nice jolly thing, and it says...
It hears everything that's going on.
It's got big ears, yeah.
And does it reflect what you're saying to yourself?
Of course, it can hear your own inner dialogue. Uh-huh. It's a neutral observer that can hear what's going on in your head.
So it's saying what you're saying in your head to you. It's like playing back what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's relevant, so you can program it. So for this next period.
Yeah.
We're just going to ask it to give us more information. And very often, what happens is when we get little statements like, you're fat, then we go, oh, shut up. No, I don't want to hear any more about that. And I think my personal view on it is that we sort of close ourselves down. And I think that fits with the kind of thing that Milton Erickson talked about being very, very nice to yourself. And I think this is what it means. So when you get that kind of information, what I'd like everybody to do is go, oh, how interesting, thank you. And it's a data gathering collection. So you'll notice all sorts of things. You'll notice if you're making movies. You'll notice if you're making movies about the past, or you're making movies about the future, or if you're making big pictures or small pictures. You might notice that you make lots of inner dialogue. You might go, oh, this is going really well. This is really fun. I like this. And then if you're getting things like that, then you can do more of it.
Yeah.
So basically what it does is it's like having eyes, ears, feeling, taste and smell inside.
Mm.
And it's like a data feedback. So it's a bit like the little thing on my computer.
Yeah.
But,
we're not going to be able to talk now. We're going into trance. Carol. I mean, oh goodness me, you know, it's taking us inside, and you know what that means.
But this is exactly it. You know, I noticed when I was teaching a long time ago. You know, I'd be teaching, you know, lots of professors and things, and I would notice that when I went to do a drawing example to show them, you know, this is, you know, normally I'd be like splashing away and stuff, and so I would want to show them that kind of freedom with my inventions, and then I would try and do it, but I was so much in teaching mode, my hand would just go, And because I have got this neutral observer, it would go, that's because you're using another bit of your brain.
So the neutral observer would actually help you there in this case.
It would explain.
Loads. It's the most useful thing.
It would explain, so it doesn't just feed. So if you say
it collects data, and then it explains, just like Carol's computer, it explains what's going on. Mm-hmm. Sort of, I get it. Yeah, it's saying if you're not feeling, or if you're feeling angry about something, the neutral observer will say, it'll tell you, feeling angry, and then you sort of process it and you understand why.
Well, what might happen is before you get angry, it might say, okay, so here's an example.
Yeah.
So the other day I was riding my young horse.
Right.
And we just started riding him. He's an enormously powerful animal, and so we're just teaching him to accept me on his back. Yeah. So I was on his back, and my friend was with me, and she's fantastic. She's got fantastic energy, and she's really knowledgeable. It was a beautiful sunny day. We were in a sand school. It was all fenced in. He was very relaxed, and we were just teaching him to go, to turn, and to stop and walk. That's all we wanted. But that's a lot. That's a lot to learn if you're a horse and you're not used to a big wobbly human on your back.
Yeah,
and you're he's very high blooded. So he's a very active kind of person. Yeah. So I'm there, and you know, he's doing really well. He's turning and he's stopping. And he's listening to my breathing, and when I stop my movement, he's stopping. And every now and then he's waggling his head around because he has to waggle it around to learn, because that's what he's like. And I'm just ignoring that. And there's some video of that as well that we've got.
That'd be interesting.
And all of this is going on, and I'm just thinking, I've waited 5 years to ride this horse. And here I am in this beautiful sunshine, and I'm riding, and I'm so excited, I'm just about crying. And I can't get all excited because I get him too excited, so I'm just staying calm. And then after about 10 minutes of this, total happiness, I noticed through my neutral observer that, what I noticed was I got tense. I was scared, started to get scared. So I used my neutral observer, maybe a bit different than now. I called on my neutral observer and said, whoa, what happened there? What's going on? And it went, oh, okay, because it's very jolly. It chats to me, and it goes, oh, okay, would you like to see you were making videos? So I go, oh, how interesting, thank you. I only answer with, oh, how interesting, thank you. Mm-hmm. And so it showed me the video. So the video I was playing in my mind with a soundtrack and everything was incredible.
Yeah.
I was in a cross country. I don't even do cross country. I was in a cross country on the horse, and there's these huge fences, like 6 foot, wide and 8 foot drop. And I'm flying through there, and I'm thinking, my horse might die. This is a terrible sport. I don't even do it. I actually don't like that sport.
Yeah.
There you go.
Most people do it. They like it. I'm too old for that kind of thing now. But I was playing this movie, and it was nothing to do with what was going on. And so I was like, oh, thank you. And so straight away, just seeing the movie, I was able to just, go whoosh. And then what I did was I just got myself really present. I went, what's really going on is I'm here, it's sunny, it's lovely, Deanne's with me, I'm really happy. And then what I did was I imagined myself, imagined a big sort of lovely version of myself floating, like a movie, like a hologram, floating in the air at the other end of the arena. And I was riding round the next cone perfectly. Me and the horse, it was all perfect the way I wanted it to be. And then what I did was I just rode into that shape, into that bubble, if you like. And it just, when I rode into it, everything I saw in the bubble happened. And then the next corner, I just imagined the same. And I imagined the same. And my friend said to me, what are you doing? Because whatever you're doing is really working. You know?
So that was really good.
So, so do you see what I mean? How you can use it?
Absolutely.
Definitely. We can see how the worry wanted to kill the cat again as well. Right in the middle of your little terrifying movie, there he was again, the worry, trying to kill the old cat. Goodness me. Yeah, it's amazing how, you know, we make these films up so fast.
They're so powerful, though.
They're so powerful that
So
it is useful to have the little
neutral observer
to say, hey, what's going on?
What movie are you making?
Yeah,
that's
right
making
now.
you feel this way right now?
Yeah.
And just and really welcome the information. So
yeah, I would find that a bit hard to welcome it.
What'd you do?
I find it hard to say thank you to something negative.
But is it really negative? It's just information. Is it negative or
I'm thinking, why? Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. I'm thinking, why am I, or am I jumping ahead? Why am I saying that nasty thing to myself? I don't want to say thank you to it. I want to push that away and bring a nice thing in.
You'll find out next week.
Well, yeah, I think you've got a good point there, because a lot of people say, well, why do I say thank you to that? If I look in the mirror and I say, oh, you look horrible today, you know, why should I say thank you to that? But I think
it's because you're supposed to say...
You're tempting me to tell you the next stage.
We're trying to hypnotise you into it. But we will not.
We will not be so curious. We will learn to wait as well, because...
We will learn to say thank you and see what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because saying thank you
is accepting.
Is acceptance.
It's being in the moment.
Is acceptance.
So it's absolutely about being curious. So it's about being curious. What's happening all the time? So it's like the thing on my computer. It's giving you all this data. And the more you say, I think what you'll find, the more you say, oh, how interesting. I'm curious. Oh, how interesting. Thank you. Okay? And what you can do, because we're going to go on to the next stage next time, but what you can do is start to consider things as either, rather than negative and positive,
neutral.
Play around with the concept of helpful and not helpful in context.
Right.
Well done.
Because the thing about me thinking to myself, I'm fat, when I got that, I was riding a horse. And so I said to myself, well, okay, does it make any difference riding a horse? And it went, well, no, not really. So I went, so it was kind of helpful in a way, because, you know, I could do with losing some weight. And so I said to it, I went, okay, thank you. Now, can we do a little thing? So next time I'm pinching some cheesecake when there's nobody around out of the fridge, and eating it with it, and, you know, not consciously, you know, just eating it, really, because I'm just pinching it because I've kind of turned into a 6-year-old again. I say to my neutral observer, can you change the programming in there so that next time I'm eating the cheesecake, you go, rather than going, oh, nobody's around, can you change it to, you're fat? And so the next time, right enough, you know, there's nobody around, I peek around, I go in the fridge, there's a cheesecake, I see the cheesecake, then about a week later, I see the cheesecake, and I switch for a moment into my old 6-year-old program, like I could pinch this because nobody here. I grew up in a boarding house with my granny at a boarding house. I think I used to pinch things.
There you go, yeah.
So, program's there, you know.
Program's there.
I go to it, and the voice goes, "Do you want to be fat?" So I reprogrammed myself. I broke the old program, which goes back to about 4 years old, 5 years old, and now I get the, well, you can have it. Do you want to be fat? So it's helpful. So I go, oh, how interesting, thank you. And I don't eat the cheesecake. Because I've got more choice.
Yeah, so
more
you've
choice,
got the choice. You realise you're eating the cheesecake because
you're following an old program.
You've heard your neutral observer telling you you were fat.
Well,
otherwise you wouldn't realise that you were fat and that you were... Do you understand?
Well, yeah. Yeah,
It wouldn't be unconscious. It would be unconscious processes that you just do
automatically.
And then you just feel miserable for no reason. And you think, why am I feeling miserable? And then you might think, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what you'll find is the neutral observer will tell you what you're thinking.
It helps you a lot.
And it'll go like, oh, look, it's a movie. So all you say is you install it, make it very funny, and that changes things as well because the information's coming from a funny little bunny rabbit or something.
Funny helps
it makes
a lot.
You kind of giggle. It's got to be funny. So
it's got to be
when
something.
it's information that's a bit awkward, then you go. You can. Sometimes I have to do it with gritted teeth slightly. I have to go. Oh, thank you. How interesting.
Because you're not that happy with that information.
But it's
if you say like something like, say, if I didn't like something, it was telling me.
Yeah.
If you say in a really funny way, you don't like, you know, whatever. I can't think of anything now, but you know, it would be funny. In the end, it would make you laugh because you've got that funny little voice inside you. So it's going to make lightheartedness of something that could be quite serious to you.
Well, yeah, it's like when somebody tells you something, if they say it in a nice, light-hearted, almost humorous way, you're going to accept it easier than if they say something to you in a nasty way.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if somebody's a good friend and they want to give you some piece of advice
and
they feel.
Usually your inner voice is quite nasty, isn't it, when it's saying nasty things to you? They're usually horrible inner voices.
Well,
most people, I would say, a lot of people have nasty inner voices that are really, they're like your own worst enemy. You wouldn't talk to your own worst enemy like as we wrote. No, you won't talk to your own worst enemy sometimes with what you say to yourself. You wouldn't even dream of it. If you know, it would be the what you would think, I am such a horrible person. How can I say that? I mean, who am I? The things that you say to yourself sometimes.
So terrible. So what I'm going to do is next week I'll share with you the next stage of the process, and then we might get both parts in the next time. We'll see. But it's very fast. Once it's installed, it's like learning anything. You know, when you're a kid, you learn that a cat's a cat and a dog's the dog, and you know you don't get them muddled up after this. No, it's the same. Once you install your neutral observer, the neutral observer will stay there. Mine's been there for 20 years or something like that.
That's
probably a holiday actually. Probably could do with send that one on holiday and get a new one.
Yeah, get it updated now.
Update it.
Get a new scarf or something for it. New accessories. A few little love hearts put in there. Yeah. Floating around the top.
A few butterflies, there you go.
Yeah, a few butterflies are cute. Okay, Carol, that's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. Fascinating.
We've got our neutral observers now.
So we're looking to, get lots of feedback on this.
Yeah. Yeah, play about with it, and everything that you get, all the data that you get, only say, oh, how interesting.
Oh, how interesting.
Oh, how interesting.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, it was interesting.
Giggle.
Oh, how interesting. Thank you very much.
Oh, how interesting. Thank you
very much.
Okay,
we've got it.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Bye-bye from the English Sisters and
Bright as Light, Carol Robertson.
Bye. Bye-bye.